You see it plastered all over fitness forums, right?
Yeah.
Social media, too.
Oh, yeah.
These battle lines drawn up, the calisthenics guys here, the weightlifting bros over there.
Like you have to choose a camp.
Totally. It feels like you're expected to pick a tribe,
Yeah.
Stick with it. Like these two worlds are, I don't know, fundamentally opposed or something.
It really does feel like this artificial separation has been created, especially in the modern online fitness world.
Exactly. But what we found digging into this pile of sources, articles, some research notes, other stuff, it tells a completely different story.
Yeah, quite different.
So our deep dive today is all about unpacking this idea that maybe that distinction isn't just artificial. Maybe it's actually like counterproductive. We're going to explore this concept the materials are calling hybrid strength training. Try to figure out, okay, what exactly is it? Why are they arguing for it?
And what does it tell us about building what these sources keep calling real strength?
Right. Think of this as us trying to cut through all that online noise.
Yeah, get straight to the point.
We're diving into the core insights from these materials to really understand this fusion approach to fitness. And honestly, there are some genuinely surprising facts in here.
You really are. Okay, so where do we start?
Well, I think the main thing that just jumps out right away is the central message. This is not about choosing sides.
Right. It's presented more as intelligently integrating multiple training methods, putting them together.
And the range they talk about is huge. It's not just, body weight and barbells.
No, not at all.
They're mentioning kettlebells, machines, rings, pull-up bars, monkey bars, even climbing walls, sandbags, stuff like that.
It's like the whole philosophy is use the entire toolbox available to you.
Exactly.
And the core argument seems to be that you gain the most when you merge these methods. So, by combining, say, calisthenics and weight training, you can pick and choose the most effectual exercises from both disciplines. The idea is hitting the muscles from different angles, using different kinds of resistance. Basically maximizing the stimulus you get from every workout.
So instead of thinking body weight or weights, this is saying it's body weight and weights.
Precisely. Or, body weight and rings and kettlebells. It really depends on what your goals are.
Right.
The fundamental principle is still muscle overload, but you achieve it through varied means, using your body position, adding external weight, or maybe even combining both. These materials are really clear. This is how you get results.
And they make a really key point, too. Even if exercises seem to target similar muscles, they aren't always interchangeable.
Oh, yeah, that example is good.
The single leg squat or a hip bridge, great body weight moves.
Fantastic exercises, yeah.
But you just can't replicate the unique stimulus of a really heavy deadlift with just your body weight.
Exactly. And the reverse is true, too. There are movements you can do with rings or just your body that you simply can't replicate with a barbell. Each way of training has these, irreplaceable exercises. And this material basically argues you're leaving potential gains on the table if you just stick rigidly to one thing. That seems to be the driving force behind designing structured programs this way.
And that focus on using the most effective tools, that seems to lead naturally to what sources call real strength, doesn't it? They link this hybrid approach directly to that idea.
They definitely do. And this is where one of those surprising facts pops up. They point to history.
Oh, interesting.
When you look at figures often held up as, the epitome of strength and physique people, like Oygen Sandow, Steve Reeves, even Arnold Schwarzenegger, you don't just see them lifting massive weights. You see them performing really impressive body weight feats, too.
Huh. So it wasn't just about the gym lifts, it was about overall physical mastery.
Right. This material suggests that hybrid training actually has this rich, almost forgotten history precisely because these methods complement each other so well. They work together to build a truly robust, well-rounded kind of strength.
It wasn't this online rivalry back then.
Apparently not. It sounds like they were just focused purely on results, on effectiveness.
That makes sense.
That's what these sources really emphasize. Efficiency in your programming is crucial. If you're spending time and energy on exercises that are less effective for your specific goals, it's kind of a waste, right? No matter how much you might enjoy that particular method.
Yeah.
The hybrid approach, in this view, is presented as the path to really maximizing your effort and your results.
Okay. And there's one figure who seems strongly associated with this perspective in the material. Danny Cavadio.
Yes, exactly. He's presented as a pretty prominent voice for this approach.
Mm,
The notes cover his background. He's been a big name in the calisthenics world for, what, over a decade? Books, workshops all over the globe?
right. But what's fascinating, and what the sources highlight, is that even though he's known for calisthenics,
Mm-hmm.
he explicitly states his own physique, his own strength, was built through a combination, calisthenics and weight training. He says he's been training in a hybrid style for decades.
Which really underscores his philosophy, right? It seems to be about providing himself and his students with the absolute best tools available for whatever the specific goal is at that moment.
Not just sticking to one thing because it's calisthenics or weightlifting.
Exactly. His focus is on finding the most appropriate exercises to get the desired outcome, whether that happens to be a pure body weight move or a free weight lift or, something else entirely.
He argues it's a mistake to let your adherence to a particular discipline dictate your training, putting the ideology ahead of what's actually best for your body, for your progress.
Yeah, he puts it pretty bluntly. His objective, he says, has never been driven by dogma. It's always just been about the gains, pure and simple.
Oh, right.
He even mentions he only really became aware of the whole calisthenics versus weights rivalry thing after he got involved online.
Oh, really?
Yeah, suggesting it's maybe a more modern internet-fueled thing rather than some fundamental conflict based on, effective training principles.
Which makes total sense when you think about his background, like 30 plus years working out across pretty much every modality you can think of. Calisthenics, weights, kettlebells, machines, sandbags. The list goes on.
Right. As a longtime practitioner, someone who calls himself a lifelong student of physical culture, his motivation seems to have always been about finding the most efficient, the most effective ways to get stronger. Trying different methods firsthand was just part of learning.
Okay, so if this hybrid approach is so effective, maybe even historically rooted, how does someone actually do it? Put it into practice. The sources do mention some structured ways.
They do, yeah. The material outlines 3 specific 6-week programs. They're designed to help people progressively integrate these hybrid ideas.
Okay.
There's Blue Flame, that's for beginners to intermediate levels. Then Red Hot for intermediate to advanced folks. And finally, Hell Yeah for the really advanced practitioners.
And each of those programs includes a self-assessment component.
Yes, exactly. It's framed as a way to gauge your progress using what they call classic benchmarks of physical strength. So it gives you a concrete framework for actually applying these concepts we're talking about and seeing how you measure up.
Gotcha. And looking at the sheer variety of exercises these sources mention, across all the different modalities,
Yeah.
it really hammers the point home, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely.
It's not just the standard bench, squat, deadlift, or, basic push-ups and pull-ups.
No way. They talk about specific ring movements, muscle-ups, front levers, back levers, the iron cross, skin the cat. Pretty advanced stuff.
Plus other advanced bodyweight skills like clutch flags, human flags, V-sits, handstands on parallettes. Then they jump straight to specific weighted squats like the VMO dead squat or
Sure.
the Zercher squat.
Right, or alternative deadlifts like good mornings. And even more sort of functional or athletic movements,
Like Ray.
airborne lunges, back flips, front flips, working on just jumping higher, or even improving your ability to get up from the floor without using your hands. And there's a mention of using resistance bands, too, for various body parts.
It's clear this hybrid perspective gives you a massive, versatile toolbox to draw from. It really moves completely beyond arguing about which tool is inherently better,
Yeah.
and instead focuses just on how effectively you can use any tool to achieve your specific goals.
That is exactly what these materials seem to be strongly advocating for. It's about looking across the entire spectrum of physical training methods and intelligently picking the most effective exercises for the job, regardless of whether they come from the bodyweight world, the weighted world, or somewhere else entirely. It's totally results driven.
Okay, so let's kind of bring it back together then. This deep dive into the sources, it really reframes that popular online debate, doesn't it?
Definitely.
Hybrid strength training, as these materials describe it, isn't about picking aside calisthenics or weightlifting.
Yep.
It's about intelligently combining the most effective exercises from a whole range of methods: body weight, weights, kettlebells, rings, bands, you name it.
All with the goal of maximizing your results and building what they keep calling real strength.
And these sources really emphasize this isn't some brand new fad. It actually has deep historical roots.
Yeah, and it serves as a pretty powerful counterpoint to the often rigid, kind of dogmatic rivalries we see online today.
And Danny Cavadio's perspective, which we got from this material, really reinforces that, doesn't it?
Absolutely. His own history, his training style over decades, and his core belief in just using the best tools available for your goals.
Driven purely by wanting the gains, not by some ideology.
Exactly. And we also saw how they suggest actually applying these principles through structured programs like Blue Flame, Red Hot, and Hallier,
Oh.
complete with those self-assessments to track progress against classic benchmarks.
Right. So considering that huge range of exercises and modalities mentioned in the sources, I mean, every from advanced ring skills and bodyweight feats to deadlifts, specific squats, band work, even practical stuff like jumping higher or just getting up off the floor.
A lot.
Here's maybe something for you, the listener, to think about. How can you start integrating this concept, this idea of seeking out the most effectual exercises for your specific personal goals, rather than feeling, confined to just one method?
Yeah, how do you break out of that box if you feel like you're in one?
And what is that idea of physical autonomy? That's a term used in one of the source titles. What does that actually mean for how you approach your own training journey?